So welcome to track AH of the Skills and Learning track from this year's GSC UK. I'm delighted to welcome my friend and colleague Joris Mertens. Joris is a developer advocate within the Z ecosystem team based in Amsterdam. So I'm delighted that Joris is able to join us today to talk about modernization on Z. Everybody has joined on mute. You're probably all familiar with this now. If you've got any questions during the session, please use chat, and I can interrupt Joris if it's a point of clarification that's important to most people. Otherwise, we can leave the questions to the end. When we get to the end, I also intend to unmute everybody so that you can actually step in and ask questions then. Fantastic. In which case, Joris, all over to you.
Thank you very much. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Joris Mertens, and indeed, I'm a developer advocate for IBM. And before I start my presentation, I want just to give a little bit of background of the topic which we will discuss here. In my role, I'm always looking to connect clients with the developer community, with students, with young professionals, basically to get everybody engaged on the IBM Z technology. The thing is, when I have conversations with clients, I live in the Netherlands, but also on events or wherever I meet IBM Z users, they always have that urge to get introduced in the word modernization. Modernization seems to be the magical word. There are so many ways how you can modernize your environment. But if we have a bit of a longer talk, the real question appears is, why do you want to modernize? What's the benefit of modernizing your environment? And where's your starting point? And this is where it gets interesting, because not everybody has a clear answer on that topic yet. So together with my colleagues, we are trying to help these people to understand their starting point, their benefits, their do's, and perhaps their don'ts on the topic of modernization. So today I wanted to give you a tour and background information on the available information, which is most probably a great starting point to understand and answer the questions which I just asked. You know, why modernization? Why not? What are the benefits? What is the downside, etc. So I will share my screen and pop up my presentation. And indeed, Paul, if you have questions in the chat, feel free to interrupt me. And I will be delighted to answer.
But I will interrupt you if there's anything significant.
Yeah, my screen is visible.
It is indeed, yeah, that's good.
Okay. So, modernization on IBM Z. First of all, my first highlight, which I would like to show you, is together with a large group of IBM SMEs, specialists, content managers, we worked to create a one-stop shop for all the modernization content in a new landing page. And with that, we have created the IBM Z and Cloud Modernization Center. We all know, if you are a bit familiar with the content on these topics, there's so much out there where you can look for. If you put a Google search, you will get thousands of answers, partially answering your personal questions. And from an IBM perspective, we thought that it could be a very nice added value to create a one-stop shop for different personas, for different roles, for different types of content. And it all starts with the IBM Z and Cloud Modernization Center. The IBM Z and Cloud Modernization Center, it's, as said, a one-stop shop for modernization content. It has case studies, modernization patterns, and the modernization patterns, that's what I will be talking about today. We focus on different personas or roles within the companies. And with that, we hope to unlock more business value for the clients. You see the URL mentioned, and I hope that we can also share it in the chat. And I will probably not go into that deep of the content and the patterns themselves, but they're all posted in a very easy way to find. So I would like to encourage you all to check that out. And after my talk, of course, I will post the URL. So the framework that we're using, we have tried to bundle all the modernization patterns in a framework which makes sense for the most of you. We have an overall framework or contemplates, which is the lifecycle neighbors, the process-centric. Then we have the application-centric, data-centric integration, and the event-driven. So I will take you through these pattern sections to give you a little bit of an overview where you can find what. So the first one I would like to discuss is the lifecycle neighbors, the process-centric ones. And within that, you can find two patterns, which is the application discovery and the enterprise DevOps. And what do we mean by that? And again, I will tell this on a pretty high level, but all the details can be found in the landing page for the modernization. Application discovery. If you would like to modernize, you need to understand, why do I modernize and what application do I want to modernize? Well, the success of IBM Z has a small downside that some applications are running for such a long time that the original purpose is not really clear. Perhaps the developers or the coders who have built the applications are not around anymore. And in general, there is no updated and proper knowledge on what the application does and how it is connected towards the rest of the infrastructure. In this example, I'm using the IBM Application Discovery and Delivery Intelligence, which is a tooling application which scans and maps your current application and gives you an overview of what the application does, where it is connected to. And that is an example of how you can understand what your application does. Because if you want to change it, or if you decide not to change it, you have to do it with the proper background. The second one, it's probably the one you are the most familiar with, is Enterprise DevOps. This pattern will also help you understand how to implement your DevOps pipeline within and by using your IBM Z application environment. So if we go to the next one, oh, my apology, where is it? Oh, yeah, the next one is the application-centric. Within the application-centric, we would like to highlight a few patterns, apologies. The first and a very popular one is to expose through APIs. It learns you how and why, what are the benefits of exposing your application through and data through APIs. In other words, how do you make your data more consumable, or your application more consumable outside of your IBM Z environment. You can extend your applications on ZOS with cloud native applications, so it can make that connection. Co-locate your applications when to make sure that your data can be run across your entire platform. enhances cloud native, so you can adapt your cloud native functionalities within your IBM Z environment and refactor into discrete services. The next one is data-centric integration. So as it says, it's really focusing on how to enable and work with your data. Enable more modern access on your IBM Z data. This has an overlap with, for example, your API exposure, but you can also think of using SQL-based queries to open up your data towards the outside part of your IBM Z environment. There's a part which talks about the virtualization of your IBM Z data. It can cache your IBM Z data to get more performance out of your data, response time, and replication of your IBM Z data. And again, I will show you later that it's all these topics and all these patterns are clearly defined in the Application Modernization Center. So once you have the landing page, this is really structural, explained within several topics. The last one we have defined is the event-driven one. First, you want to respond as fast as possible, obviously nowadays in near real time, to events that occur on your IBM Z application. You want to respond to your external events by using your Z environment assets, and optimize your CQRS, your command query response segregation, which is basically the split of the reading channel and the writing channel towards your data. So with that, this is for us the framework with the patterns included from where we have built a learning journey, which is hopefully covering all these patterns in a way that is understandable on any level. So let's take a look at that. So within the IBM Z and Cloud Modernization Center, there are many content parts which are really focusing on the personas, and I've highlighted them here. We have the executive zone, we have an architect zone, and a developer zone. So in this example or in this talk, I would like to focus on the developer zone, but what I'm telling you and what I'm showing you is one-on-one applicable towards the architect zone and the executive zone as well. So if we take a look at the developer zone, what can you find there? These are just highlighted tiles which I took from the website, and there are other topics and there's other content as well, but these are currently the most popular one, and therefore they are highlighted within a tile. If we scan them through really quickly, you have case studies, you have documents, the red books, for examples. We have videos with live demos or with demonstrations. We have the website with the application modernization patterns. That, for example, is the website where you can find the information I just told about one-on-one. And we have the learning journey where you can earn badges and gain your knowledge. So if we take a look at that learning journey, first of all, we would like to start, if you start the learning, with a high-level introduction. This high-level introduction perhaps is the most easy one to start with if you are a non-technical person, if you have a leading role, if you are a manager of the team, but you would like to understand the high-level part of the technology which is being talked about. And on the right side, you see a screenshot of the introduction training, and you can see the topics below. We have an introduction, which is a high-level overview of what is modernization. What do we mean with modernization? Then we have some overall topics which we cover there: probably the most interesting one and the most popular ones: DevOps, tooling, REST enablement, Linux and OpenShift. And then there is a reCAPTCHA website. And if you would like to do that, you can take a short quiz and you get a badge which recognize that you have did the course and that you have completed the training. So this is really an introduction for the journey. If you would like to go to the next section, you have to get this badge. For most people with a technical background within the IBM Z environment, it's really easy to do this one. On the left side, I have posted two screenshots from the videos because we try to have the content driven with video as much as possible. So less reading, more listening. They're short videos. And that way we try to make it a little bit more interactive to learn from. If we go to the next section, which is the real learning journey from a more technical perspective, and it does focus on the developer side, you can see how it looks. The framework is pretty much the same. The introduction is the first topic, and you can see it on the left side, the first why application modernization for mainframe. Well, that as a part of that, it redirects you to what I showed you in the previous slide, and it will give you the high level overview of how do we do it and why do we want to do it. And it also gives you a bit of an explanation of why we use the patterns in the way as we use them from an IBM perspective. From there, you will go again through several topics. The overview of DevOps, REST enablement, common tooling, the application discovery pattern, implement enterprise DevOps, expose application data through APIs. And all these topics are the same topics I just showed you a few slides before when we talked about the framework with the content and the patterns. Respond in real time to external events, optimize CQRS. Again, a wrap up, and that wrap up also has the quiz embedded, where you have to take the quiz with the questions. And if you succeed to have a certain amount of questions properly finished, then you will receive again a badge. Which is a recognition that you gathered the knowledge for this learning journey properly. On the right side, you will see again two screenshots of how the videos look like. Again, there are short videos, but the difference between the introduction and this real learning journey is that after you have finished the videos, you are asked to take a look at the content on the website itself, which is again the same content which I was referring to. It tells you all about the patterns, and with a large number of IBM SMEs, IBM developers, IBM content managers, we all came together to make sure that this information is updated, that it's aligned with other tracks, and that it's very easy consumable for you as a student on this learning journey. So the learning journey in total takes about 10 hours. The introduction, it's 1 to 2 hours, depending on how much background information you are gathering. So in total, we have 12 hours of education on this learning journey, which helps you understand the need for modernization. So I have one question for all of you. Why not start now? It's free, it's focused on the latest technology, it helps you to adapt patterns in a proper way, and it identifies the fit for purpose of your application and your tooling. This is the second URL which I'm giving to you, and this URL is the direct URL to the learning journey. So if you would like to start, and I hope to encourage you all, to take a look and check it out, you can find it on ibm.biz/appmoddeveloper. At the beginning, when we're talking about the personas, I also told a little bit about the architect persona, which is available, and the executive persona. And there's one thing which I would like to mention, that for the developer, we have created and posted this updated, this revised learning journey. And during this week, we will also update the architect persona. And all the things I just showed to you, where you can find what are the patterns, it's exactly the same for the architect persona. But for the architect persona, the content, it's more aiming on the approach from an architect instead of a developer. So it's probably less technical. It looks more, it focuses more on the reason why to use it instead of the technical details of it. So this is a pretty short talk. I know that I've been talking now for 20-ish minutes. I can talk a lot more about the learning journey or about the Modernization Center, but I hope that with the time I give back to you, that you are checking out this yourself and see if it fits for you to understand the modernization. So, Paul, may I ask you, are there any questions at the moment?
No, there's none so far, but here's an opportunity for anybody to ask them. One quick question from me while maybe people are thinking about what they'd like to know. We talked about the sort of learning journeys and the different audiences each are aimed at. If you were an educator, for example, is this a useful resource to use? Do they need to have done something before they come and look at modernization, or are you gearing this more towards the to people who are actually already in Z roles?
I think that the purpose and the thought that we had when we created this learning journey, that it's meant to be for anyone with the interest. Anyone who's interested in this topic in modernization or in just a certain subset of what tooling, how to use it, anyone can take the journey, that anyone can take parts of the journey. So you don't need to take the whole journey. It's just, except if you want to have the badging for yourself. But especially the introduction training, we've separated that. For example, for the leader teams of variety of leaders in companies, that they can just take a quick look on, okay, what is my team talking about? They're always shouting DevOps, but what does it really mean? APIs, yeah, sure, I've heard all about it, but honestly, I want to understand what it is. So the introduction training is really a high-level overview, which can be very interesting for any persona. And if you're more on the technical side, if you are an educator, or if you are just an enthusiastic, an IT enthusiast, you can also just take a look, get the videos, and from there you will be redirected to the appropriate content and the background. So it's for basically everyone.
Got one question just come in from Michael Carey. Can you see that?
No, I can't see it. I was just posting.
Okay, so the question I've seen from Michael is to whom within a mainframe organization would this application be directed at? That's the, if you're talking about your IBM.biz app mod developer.
Yeah, that's the, so this is the app mod developer. It means for application modernization developer. So the link I just posted in the chat, that's for the developer persona, or it says developer, but it's even nowadays very interesting for the sysadmins, for example, or anyone with a more technical role within the Z environment. The architect one, I will first give you the link to the second one. It's the landing page of the Modernization Center itself. From there, you can also redirect to the architect and to the executive zone. So those are the three personas we have identified.
Great, thanks, Joris. And of course, this is all free.
Absolutely, yeah, it's all free. There are a lot of content. It is also being updated in later terms when there's an update on the technology, or when, for example, new tooling is available. We try to keep it as actual as possible, so that it remains interesting, with the main goal to get this one-stop shop for everybody.
Fantastic. And I'm just posting another link here. Many people will be aware of it, but if you were looking for Z content, information on hiring, on training, on educating, then ibm.biz/Z talent is a great website to actually start from, and that will point you to a whole series of programs and resources that are available.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So any final questions? No, it all looks quiet, Joris. So thank you very much for giving me time to take us through the modernization.
Thank you very much. And in my profile, there is also my LinkedIn profile is mentioned, and probably my Twitter feed. So if you have further questions, or if you want to discuss more on this topic, you can always give me a message, and I will contact you. And my main goal is to help everybody understand better on this topic. Again, I didn't went into a technical deep dive on this session, but there's always the possibility to do so.
Fantastic. Thanks, Joris. And just remind everybody, this is session 8AH, if you'd like to provide some feedback for Joris on this particular topic. So with that, I'll close the session, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.